Probably some planet-eating type dude waiting for me up ahead. All yoked and powerful and trying to take over the world or something. But don't you worry, a hero descends. What? There are no heroes in this world? Oh, but there totally are. My name is Travis Touchdown. I'm the last hero around, here to save the world. I'm also just a passing assassin. Here we go. Taking a kill trip on death row.
If you've been watching me talk about No More Heroes 3 on TNT throughout this year, you knew that the run-up to this game has been a mix of excitement, worry, doubt, and elation for me. Every new trailer that dropped would fill me with equal parts excitement and dread. I was happy that I was going to return to Santa Destroy for the first time in a decade, and afraid that the game wouldn't live up to my expectations. After 10 years away, would Travis's first mainline entry in the series have the same impact the originals did, or would it fall flat? Did Suda51 and the team at Grasshopper Manufacture have enough time to iron out the frame rate issues we all saw in Nintendo's Treehouse coverage, or would we be in for a Deadly Premonition 2 style disappointment? Then I got the game, and those worries faded away. Once the title screen revealed the familiar motel, I was back. Travis was back. It didn't matter if there was an occasional muddy texture. Once I heard Travis say these words,
"Start the game."
That was it for me. The minute I was into the fray, wildly swinging my beam katana, I was hooked. Combat is, after all, at the heart of No More Heroes, and it's within that combat that I find what I love most about the series and its main protagonist. Travis is, despite his own best efforts, a blood-crazed psychopath. He lives for the thrill of the fight, and despite trying to pull himself away from it, he keeps coming back. Following the events of Travis Strikes Again, the No More Heroes side story that launched in early 2019, Travis returns to Santa Destroy just in time for an alien invasion. When I heard that Travis would be fighting aliens, I wasn't sure how I'd feel about it. Part of what made No More Heroes so special to me was the interactions Travis had with the assassins he faced on his way up the rankings. Rather than assassins this time around, however, Travis is battling aliens as the UAA steps in to create a new ladder for him to climb, the Galactic Superhero Rankings. The main antagonist, Fu, descends on Earth along with 9 of his buddies to play a conquest game. Fu wants to see if there's a human powerful enough to kill him and his friends, and naturally he decides Travis Touchdown is that person. After destroying a large portion of Santa Destroy, Fu decides to further antagonize Travis in one of the most gut-wrenching story developments I've seen in the series to date. If the events of No More Heroes 2 set Travis on a dangerous path, No More Heroes 3 ups that ante, giving Travis ample reason to dismantle Earth's invaders beyond the existential threat they pose. It's a great setup for a bloodbath, but it also left me with more questions than answers. If you're going to play No More Heroes 3 for its story, you're going to want to play the previous games in the franchise first. This latest entry doesn't explain its backstory, so if you want to understand Travis's relationship with Sylvia, Shinobu, or even Bad Girl, not to mention Bishop, you'll need to play those previous entries. But it's still possible to have a good time without knowing the background of each character. That said, there are some things longtime fans of the series like me would love to know more about, like the scar Travis received somewhere between No More Heroes 2 and Travis Strikes Again, or the fact that Dr. Naomi is now a tree somehow, or when Travis took over multiple floors of the No More Heroes motel. That said, the story is still what I would expect from a proper No More Heroes sequel. It's full of fourth wall breaking inside jokes that drew me in, but the story feels a bit more serious this time around. There are fewer sex jokes, and Travis seems less interested in pursuing Sylvia and more concerned with the fate of the world. He also seems to need to talk to Sylvia about something important, but never seems to find the right timing. The narrative kept me interested, but the real reason I was putting in long hours with No More Heroes 3 was its gameplay.
Raspberry! Double kill! Never stood a chance!
No More Heroes 3 seeks to turn back the clock, returning to the style of gameplay that made the original a hit, rather than building on the foundation laid by its predecessor. The most apparent indicator of this is the fact that open-world gameplay has finally returned to the series. Hopping on Travis's bike and driving around Santa Destroy filled me with nostalgia. All the spots I remember from the original No More Heroes are there. I was able to find Destroy Stadium, Beefhead, and the gas station right where they were. There are some changes to the map though. Ramps are now available to help you get around Santa Destroy a bit more quickly, and there's a new highway to take you to other locations. There are 6 open world maps for you to explore, and they vary in quality and performance. Let's get this out of the way. There are frame rate issues in all of the open world sections of No More Heroes 3, but they don't really get in the way of any meaningful gameplay. There's more than occasional stutter present in them, but this is par for the course for the series. The original on Wii experienced these issues as well. Low draw distance and texture pop-in were common occurrences as well, but after a while, none of these things bothered me. Instead, I found myself obsessed with finding every last secret or completing odd jobs to really care about the technical performance in these sections. Like the original, Travis has to complete chores around town in order to earn the required cash for the next ranked match. I didn't realize how much I missed these tasks until I was playing them again. No More Heroes 2 ditched them in favor of retro-style minigames, which were definitely more efficient, but weren't as fun to play. The chores range from the mundane, like mowing lawns for cash and unclogging public toilets, to action-packed bike chases and manning cannons to take down gigantic alligators. I enjoyed playing each of these for different reasons. It's a good thing I enjoyed them too, because I needed to play quite a few of these minigames to afford not just the entry fees to ranking battles, but to upgrade Travis as well. This is where No More Heroes 3 begins to establish an identity all its own. In previous mainline entries, Travis would train at a local gym to increase his health and strength, but that's no longer the case here. Instead, No More Heroes 3 uses a second currency, World-Ending Supernova, or WESN. WESN drops from enemies and after completing quests. To use it, you'll need to go to Dr. Naomi's lab underneath your room and use this machine. Buying upgrades with WESN feels similar to the experience system used in Travis Strikes Again. You dump WESN into the machine and choose to level up Travis's health or beam katana strength, have Travis learn new moves, or reduce his Death Glove skill cooldowns. I like this system, but it made me miss training in the gym and learning new moves, and to an even greater extent, it made me wish I could purchase new beam katanas rather than just stick with Bloodberry. I spent a lot of my time in Santa Destroy hoping I'd find a quest chain that would lead me to unlocking the Tsubaki Mark III or Rose Nasty. I was also hoping that maxing my beam katana's battery would lead to it never needing to be recharged, but I had no such luck. Katana battery misgivings aside, the new WESN system works, and it prevents me from forming a routine between each ranked match, which is welcome. In the lab alongside the upgrade machine is the supercomputer. With it, you can add chips to your Death Glove. Your glove can equip up to 3 chips at a given time, but I didn't feel the need to use this very much. Every encounter yields some crafting components that can be turned into chips, but I found myself not caring much as most of the chips came with some kind of nerf alongside the buff they'd provide. I crafted a set that gave me some slight advantages early on and never really looked at the Death Glove system again. The best buffs come instead from Sushi. Bugjiro returns from Travis Strikes Again to serve up buffs and items. I made regular use of Bugjiro's sushi stalls all over the open world areas to make sure I was able to replenish my health and stay in the fight. You can use takeout sushi to recover health in the middle of battle or increase your tension or attack power temporarily, or purchase dine-in sushi to have those effects applied immediately the next time you enter a fight. Somehow, I've made it 1500 words into this review without mentioning how battles work, but rest assured, No More Heroes 3's battles are incredible. While the open world segments of the game may exhibit texture pop-in, draw distance issues, and frame rate drops, none of these occurred during any fight in the game for me, regardless of scale. Whether I was fighting a galaxy-sized boss or a small group of throwaway enemies, the experience was smooth throughout. The battle system is the most robust and varied of any game in the franchise. Travis has new tricks at his disposal, thanks mostly to his Death Glove. Travis starts out with one Death Glove move, a teleporting dropkick, but quickly unlocks the remaining 3, which allow him to slow time, set up an area of effect attack, and send his opponent flying. In concert, these dramatically change the flow of combat. Travis has also retained his jumping attacks from Travis Strikes Again, which home in on his opponents, and the slots which appear after a throw or death blow now pack some new options for Travis as well. When you start the game, a screen appears to tell you that you should use motion controls with Joy-Con if possible, and I have to say I agree that it's the best way to play the game. As with previous entries in the series, No More Heroes 3 is all about dealing finishing blows with motion controls, and it feels just as satisfying to swing the Joy-Con to dispatch a foe as it did to swing the Wii Remote for the same purpose in 2008. I found myself getting swept up in combat encounters so much that I'd seek out matches I didn't even need to take part of, just to experience the joy of taking enemies out. Each battle ends like this.
I'm taking...
And it's arguably the best part of the encounter. The satisfying transition from combat back to the rest of the game makes you crave another victory in a way that most games don't. It's incredibly satisfying and something I never tired of experiencing. Woefully underutilized is Travis's deep space armor. For some battles, you'll see him don his full armor mode, then fly off into space to equip an even larger, more intimidating mecha for space battles against gigantic aliens. These feel more akin to a battle from Star Fox, and I adore them. Strafing around gigantic enemies and firing volleys of rockets feels less like a No More Heroes game and more like something Macross or Gundam related. But it still somehow fits, given Travis's otaku nature. We had hints of combat like this with Glastonbury and No More Heroes 2, but No More Heroes 3 takes that concept to its logical conclusion. As I said earlier, these combat encounters are the glue that holds the game together, and there's a flow to them that's unique to this latest entry in the series. No More Heroes 1 and 2 would drop you into a level in which you'd take out groups of enemies as you made your way toward the assassin waiting for you at the end of it all, but that isn't the case here. Instead, you have to fight a handful of designated matches to earn the right to pay your entry fee. These designated matches are almost like Breath of the Wild shrines. You'll find them dotting the open world landscapes, and they come in two varieties, red and blue. Blue matches typically contain weaker enemies, where red matches are a bit more difficult. Each ranked match requires you to finish 3 designated matches, but the mix of red versus blue is different each time. I say these are like shrines because once you find one, you're teleported to a small area on the alien mothership, where you'll fight a single wave of enemies before returning to your previous location. I love the concept of these, but it comes at the cost of the feeling of fighting swaths of enemies in your pursuit of your target, which for me takes away from the intensity of those encounters. I loved the idea of Travis relentlessly pursuing his targets in previous games, and doing away with that by dividing the smaller encounters into designated matches lessens that tension. But I have to admit, it suits the portable nature of Switch gameplay very well, as it makes each episode of the game easier to play in between other activities. Boss encounters, however, are the best the series has ever seen. I was worried setting all of Travis's enemies up as aliens would make them less relatable or poignant in their defeat, but I was wrong. As the story progresses, you discover that Fu and the aliens attempting to take over the Earth all have unique motivations and reasons for fighting, though there are a few surprises along the way. Let's just say Travis doesn't only fight aliens. My favorite boss battles are the ones that play with the player's expectations. Velvet Chair Girl challenges Travis to a game of musical chairs, for example. Midori Midori Kawa also has a unique element to her boss battle that makes for a fun time, and one boss even insists on a JRPG-style turn-based fight. These moments in which No More Heroes 3 subverted my expectations were exactly what I've come to love about the series. When you think you know what's going to happen, a left turn appears and throws you off. No More Heroes 3 isn't a pretty game. The graphics aren't the best, the frame rate in the open world can be messy at times, and you know what? None of that matters! Sure, those trailers and the treehouse footage had me worried, but from the first swing of Travis's beam katana to the last, I was grinning ear to ear. I'm still playing the game, and probably still will be for some time. It's got an incredible soundtrack, tons of stuff to do outside of the main quest, and a whole New Game Plus mode for me to take on now that I've finished the game. If you haven't jumped on No More Heroes yet, all of the games in the series are available on Switch alongside this one, and even if those aren't for you, No More Heroes 3 does just enough differently that you might like it even if you aren't a fan of its predecessors. I can't recommend the game enough. It's what I'll be playing until Metroid Dread comes out this fall. That wraps up my review of No More Heroes 3 for the Nintendo Switch. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please consider supporting us over on Patreon at patreon.com/gvgaming. Make sure to subscribe to GVG for more reviews just like this one, and ring that notification bell to be the first to know every time we upload a new video, and I will see you next time.
Hey.